Welcome back to WION World is One. You're watching Speed News with me, Vidur Kathuria. Let's get started. High-stakes US-Russia talks aimed at ending the war in Ukraine have failed to produce a breakthrough. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with Jared Kushner, US President Trump's son-in-law, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff at the Kremlin. After the meeting, Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said peace remains distant with no compromise reached on key territorial disputes. Kushner and Witkoff had presented a revised US plan adjusted after fears the original version made too many concessions to Moscow. Putin continues to demand Ukraine cede territory, claiming the eastern railway hub of Kupiansk has been under Russian control for weeks. Russian President Vladimir Putin has accused Ukraine's European allies of undermining US-led efforts to end the war in Ukraine. He claimed Europe altered peace proposals with demands absolutely unacceptable to Russia, effectively stealing the peace process while blaming Moscow. Putin also warned that if Europe seeks war, Russia is fully prepared to respond. US strikes on suspected drug boats in the Caribbean are facing intense scrutiny. A controversial double-tap strike reportedly targeted survivors of a vessel already hit, drawing criticism, congressional inquiries, and allegations of war crimes. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth defended the action, citing the fog of war, though the Trump administration is shifting focus to the Navy commander who directed the strike. Democratic senators accuse Hegseth of passing the buck. Both the House and Senate Armed Services committees have launched investigations with classified briefings planned. Despite criticism, the administration says the strikes will continue. The Trump administration is reportedly considering expanding its travel ban, which currently restricts or bars entry for nationals from 19 countries to include as many as 30 nations. The potential move follows a shooting in Washington, D.C. last week that killed one National Guard member and critically wounded another. Officials speaking anonymously to CNN said the plans are preliminary and the list of additional countries could change. The current list includes Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Haiti, Iran, Libya, and others. The Afghan Taliban has publicly executed a man convicted of murder in Khost city, marking the 12th such execution since 2021. The man, identified as Mangal, was shot 3 times in a crowded stadium, with thousands of spectators, including local officials, present. Global rights groups, including Amnesty International, condemned the execution as inhumane, citing trials that fall short of international fair trial standards. Public executions and corporal punishments, once common in the Taliban's 1990s rule, are again being carried out in sports stadiums across Afghanistan. Saudi Arabia has approved its 2026 state budget, forecasting a smaller fiscal deficit as it shifts spending towards priority sectors such as industry and logistics to boost non-oil revenue. The kingdom projects a deficit of $44 billion, or about 3.3% of GDP, down from the current year's estimated nearly $66.15 billion. Lower oil prices and production, along with spending exceeding budgeted levels by around 4%, contributed to this year's higher deficit. In Mali, fuel supplies in Bamako are improving after several weeks of shortages caused by a blockade on tanker convoys. The blockade had been imposed by jihadists from the Al-Qaeda-linked group for the support of Islam and Muslims, severely affecting the landlocked country. But electricity supplies are still scarce in Bamako, and most districts only have about 6 hours of power per day or even less. The queues at petrol stations have, however, dwindled over the past few days. Sudan has cleared the way for Russia's first naval base in Africa, signing a 25-year deal on the Red Sea in exchange for weapons. The base near Port Sudan will host up to 300 Russian personnel and dock 4 naval vessels, including nuclear-powered ships. In return, Sudan's military will receive air defense systems and other weaponry at preferential prices, crucial as it battles the RSF in a brutal civil war. The deal strengthens Russia's geopolitical presence on the vital Red Sea trade route, drawing concern from Western nations. Spain is in emergency mode after an outbreak of highly infectious African swine fever. Authorities have deployed hundreds of police, wildlife rangers and military personnel in Catalonia. More than 100 members of the Army's emergencies unit are carrying out disinfection work. The Agriculture Ministry says the country is on high alert, increasing vigilance and biosecurity nationwide. Officials suspect the virus may have arrived on a contaminated sausage, possibly eaten by a wild boar. The disease doesn't affect humans but is deadly to pigs, and any spread to farms could threaten one of the world's largest pork-producing industries. Several thousand people took to the streets of Paris responding to a call from the CGT, FSU and Solidarity's trade unions to protest for a people's budget. The demonstration coincided with the review of the 2026 Social Security budget, which has been returned to deputies for examination. At the heart of the mobilization are demands for wage increases, stronger social and fiscal justice, and greater investment in public services, particularly hospitals and care homes, which unions say are already overstretched. An Aston Martin DB5 car made famous by James Bond has been meticulously restored at Aston Martin Works in Newport. Unlike the cinematic originals, this car was bought in the early 1970s by 19-year-old council worker John Williams for just £900. Over the years, family and financial commitments delayed its restoration, with costs estimated at £400,000. After saving for more than 40 years, Williams handed the car over in late 2022, and more than 2,500 hours of specialist work brought it back to life. The car is now worth more than £1 million. Samba artists boarded a tourist train to Rio de Janeiro's iconic Christ the Redeemer statue for a Thanksgiving Mass, marking the National Day of Samba. The traditional Corcovado train was transformed into the Samba train, departing from Cosme Velho station. Artists sang during the service and performed afterward alongside representatives from Rio's historic Samba schools. This year marks 30 years of the Samba train, a musical journey from central do Brazil to Oswaldo Cruz, celebrating Samba's roots and cultural legacy. Colombia's Geological Service raised an orange alert after the Purase volcano erupted for the first time in decades. Footage showed ash and smoke billowing from the volcano near Popayan. Coordinator of the Volcanologic and Seismic Observatory of Popayan said the last eruption occurred in 1977. Scientists have uncovered a remarkable act of self-sacrifice inside ant colonies, one that mirrors how the human body defends itself. Now, research shows that when young ants or pupae become fatally ill, they emit a distinct chemical scent that signals worker ants to destroy them before infection spreads, and they release this odor only when workers are close, suggesting it's a deliberate biological warning. Researchers call it a dramatic act of insect altruism, designed to protect the colony's survival. Texas's Camp Mystic, where 27 girls died in a July 4th flash flood, plans to reopen next year in May at a nearby site with upgraded safety measures, despite criticism from a family whose daughter was never found. The century-old summer camp on the Guadalupe River has remained closed since the tragedy. The new location is about 500 yards from the original site, and the camp will run 6 10-day terms from late May to early August. Safety upgrades include flood warning river monitors, cabin speakers, and high-capacity generators. Camp Mystic said it aims to comply with and exceed new Texas camp safety laws. Rains triggered by Cyclone Ditwa continue to lash Tamil Nadu, flooding low-lying areas and disrupting traffic. The weather system has weakened into a depression and is likely to become a low-pressure area. A holiday has been declared in some districts. Revenue Minister said crops over 2.11 lakh acres were ruined and 582 cattle were lost. At least 4 people died in rain-related incidents. The state is going to give farmers Rs 20,000 per hectare as relief. Google's YouTube has agreed to follow Australia's new ban on social media accounts for children under 16, marking a full retreat after months of pushback from tech platforms. The company was initially exempt, arguing its primary purpose was video watching and education, not social networking. But Canberra expanded the ban to cover YouTube after other platforms complained about unequal treatment. YouTube says it will comply when the law takes effect on December 10th. Though it still disagrees with being classified as a social media service. Artificial intelligence startup Anthropic announced that it has acquired Bun, which helps developers run and manage codes more effectively, as the Claude maker looks to boost the speed and stability of its coding agent. Bun is expected to help Anthropic scale its code generative tool Claude Code, which reached an annualized revenue run rate of $1 billion since its launch earlier this year. Anthropic had already been using Bun for several months. Founded by Jared Summer in 2021, Bun serves as an all-in-one software toolkit combining code runtime, package management, building, and testing. Germany's antitrust authority has started testing Apple's proposed changes to its app tracking transparency rules, seeking input from publishers, media groups and regulators to see if competition concerns are resolved. Apple says it has agreed to modify the text and formatting of its consent prompt at the regulator's request, while maintaining what it calls core user privacy benefits. The scrutiny comes after Germany accused Apple in February of abusing market power, and France fined the company $174 million in March over parts of its tracking framework. Activity in China's services sector expanded at its weakest pace in 5 months. A private survey showed the services gauge slipping to 52.1 in November. New business growth cooled sharply while employment shrank for the 4th month in a row, and firms raised prices slightly as input costs climbed. The slowdown highlights fading domestic demand, adds pressure on a broader economy already struggling with manufacturing contractions and sluggish consumer sentiment. With both services and factories under stress, policymakers may need to weigh new stimulus measures to prevent a deeper economic slowdown. The EU is unveiling a new plan to reduce its dependence on China for rare earths, crucial for auto, electronics and defense industries. Beijing, the top global producer, has tightened export controls, prompting supply chain disruptions and rattling markets. The EU strategy includes speeding up joint purchasing, boosting production and recycling in Europe, forming partnerships with reliable suppliers and creating a European centre for critical raw materials as a supply hub. Officials say urgent action is needed to secure supply, cut red tape for new mines and bridge the cost gap with China. The move comes amid rising geopolitical tensions and updates to Europe's economic security strategy aimed at using trade tools, investment controls and export restrictions to protect critical industries. The crypto slump before rebounding on Wednesday hit the Trump family especially hard. Their branded memes, mining firms and tokens have plunged far more than typical digital assets. Some of their meme coins are down as much as 90+%, while the value of their mining firm shares and other crypto holdings has dropped sharply, erasing around $1 billion from their net worth. What once appeared as a massive crypto-fueled windfall is now unraveling, turning the Trump crypto premium into a dramatic wealth contraction and highlighting just how volatile and risky these speculative markets can be. Former India captain Virat Kohli is set to return to domestic cricket. Kohli, who last featured for Delhi in a Ranji Trophy game earlier this year, has informed the Delhi and District Cricket Association that he will be available for the upcoming Vijay Hazare Trophy. The Vijay Hazare Trophy is India's premier 50-over domestic tournament. Earlier this year, the BCCI made it mandatory for centrally contracted players to feature in domestic competitions. And since Kohli only plays ODIs for India, the Vijay Hazare Trophy was the obvious fit for his return. Kohli last played 50-over domestic cricket for Delhi in September 2013 in the NKP Salve Challenger Trophy, and his last appearance in the Vijay Hazare Trophy was during the 2009-10 season. Former England batter Robin Smith has died at the age of 62. Nicknamed the Judge, Smith was celebrated for his courage at the crease and his long, distinguished career with Hampshire. Smith won 62 Test caps between 1988 and 1996, scoring 4,236 runs at an average of 43.67, including 9 centuries. He was equally influential in limited overs cricket, averaging 39.01 in 71 ODIs. A mainstay at Hampshire, he spent his entire county career with the club. He captained the side and amassed more than 26,155 first-class runs. After retiring, he relocated to Australia and faced well-documented struggles with mental health and alcoholism. His family say he died unexpectedly at his home in Perth.